I still remember the exact sound of their laughter. It echoed through the narrow stone streets of that small Portuguese town like a cruel melody. I didn't know then that what happened that afternoon would change my marriage forever and turn me into someone stronger than I had ever been. My name is Sophia. I'm 30 years old. And this is the story of how my husband and his friends decided to turn me into the punchline of their joke. It happened during our vacation in Portugal, a trip I had planned, organized, and saved for over a year. It was supposed to be a relaxing getaway, a break from stress, a chance to reconnect. Or at least that's what I believed. But apparently, to my husband David and his friends, Portugal was not about spending time together. It was about drinking, showing off, and acting like irresponsible teenagers trapped in adult bodies. That morning, we drove to a small seaside town. Cobblestone roads, colorful houses, old fishermen drinking espresso on the corner. It felt peaceful, safe, warm in a way only little European towns can feel. David parked the car, looked at me, and said, "Babe, go grab us some water and snacks. We'll wait here." I didn't think twice. I trusted him. I always did. I walked into the small grocery shop, took maybe 3 minutes, paid, stepped out, and the car was gone. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe they moved the car. Maybe they were playing around. Maybe. Then I heard it. Their laughter. From down the street. David was recording me on his phone, zooming in as I stood confused and lost. "Bro, look at her face. She's actually panicking," one of his friends shouted. They thought it was funny, leaving me in a town I didn't know, in a country where I barely spoke the language, with no wallet because David had asked me to leave my bag in the car, with no phone because I left it charging, with no transportation, no idea where they were going, just stranded. "Come on, babe," David yelled from the moving car window. "Lighten up. It's just a joke." Then they sped off, and suddenly that peaceful little town didn't feel peaceful anymore. It felt like a trap, a reminder that the person I trusted most saw my fear as entertainment. I didn't know what would happen next. I didn't know how long I'd be alone. I didn't know if they'd actually come back. But what I did know was that something inside me broke that day, and I would never look at my husband the same way again. To understand why that moment shattered me, you need to know the years leading up to it. David wasn't always like this, or maybe he was, and I just refused to see it. He had charm, confidence, a way of pulling people into his orbit. But people like him, they often treat affection like a game, attention like a reward, love like a spotlight, and when the spotlight isn't on them, they become restless. Our marriage was 3 years old at the time. 3 years of small compromises, silent disappointments, and me convincing myself, over and over, that he would change, that the fun-loving boy I married would eventually grow into a responsible man. But instead, our home became a stage, and I, unknowingly, became the audience. His friends adored him, not because he was kind or wise, but because he was reckless, and recklessness is contagious. They loved the version of David who made stupid jokes, filmed pranks, pushed boundaries, and treated life like a viral video. To them, I was the serious wife, the one who didn't get their humor, the one who needed to chill, and David fed into it. He enjoyed being the funny one, the daring one. But every joke he made was a small cut, and over time, small cuts bleed. In the months before Portugal, things were already tense. He'd stay out late, ignore texts, lie about little things, laugh when I tried to talk seriously. He treated my concerns like annoying background noise. But nothing, not a single fight, not a single argument, prepared me for being abandoned in a foreign town so he could get a few laughs. When the car disappeared, I stood alone in the street, holding a plastic bag of water bottles and snacks like a fool. People walked past me, locals, tourists, kids, and none of them knew how hollow my chest felt. I wasn't afraid of being lost. I wasn't afraid of strangers. I was afraid of what the moment revealed. My husband didn't respect me, not even enough to treat me like a human being, let alone his partner. I sat on a bench in front of the small grocery shop, feeling the sun burn my skin. Minutes passed, then 20, then 40. No messages, no calls, no sign of the car. That's when something inside me began to shift. Not anger, Not even sadness. Something colder, sharper. Awareness. And once awareness arrives, you can't unsee the truth. I didn't know then, but the decision I would make that day, the steps I would take afterward, would be the beginning of a revenge far deeper than anything they imagined. Because the moment a woman realizes her worth, the world around her begins to change. I must have looked lost because an older Portuguese woman eventually approached me. Her hair was silver, her eyes gentle. "You okay?" she asked in accented English. I hesitated. The shame was almost unbearable. How do you tell a stranger your husband abandoned you as a joke? But something in her expression made me feel safe. "My husband," he drove away. "With his friends. I don't have my phone or money." She frowned deeply. "This is not a joke," she said. "This is disrespect." Her words hit harder than I expected. She called her son, a man in his mid-30s who spoke better English. He offered me water, a place to sit, and access to Wi-Fi so I could try to reach David. I messaged him. No reply. Then I called him using their phone. He declined the call. Then again. Declined. His friends began posting videos, I later learned. Clips of him laughing, saying, "Sophia is so mad right now," as if my fear was entertainment. I felt the humiliation burn through me like acid. The older woman shook her head and said something in Portuguese. Her son translated. "My mother says a man who laughs while his wife suffers does not deserve to stand beside her." The simplicity of that sentence, it broke something in me. And at the same time, it fixed something too. Her son drove me to a small cafe nearby. The owner, a kind middle-aged man, offered me his office phone and said, "You're safe here." For a moment, I relaxed. Just a moment. After nearly 2 hours, David finally texted, "Relax. We're coming back. Don't be dramatic. No apology. No concern. No explanation. Just irritation." When he finally arrived, he stepped out of the car laughing. Phone still in his hand, probably mid-recording. "You should have seen your face," he chuckled. "Come on. Don't be mad. It was just a prank." But the cafe owner, the old woman, and her son were watching. And for the first time in our relationship, I wasn't alone in my anger. The cafe owner stepped closer to David and said in perfect English, "A real man protects his woman. He does not leave her on the street like a lost bag." David's face darkened. He hated being challenged. "Mind your business," he snapped. But the man didn't flinch. "I am. She is my guest now." That moment, that tiny moment, was when David realized he had lost control of the narrative. He grabbed my arm. "Let's go." But I didn't move. "Take your hand off her," the old woman's son said. David released me instantly. And that was the moment something inside me whispered, "This marriage is over." But I didn't say it out loud. Not yet. Because revenge is best served when they least expect it. Later that evening, I learned the truth. It wasn't a spontaneous joke. It wasn't a moment of bad judgment. It was planned. Hours earlier, when we were still at the hotel, I overheard fragments of conversation, but didn't understand their meaning at the time. "Bro, it'll be hilarious. She's always so tense. Make sure you film her reaction. We'll get so many views." Views. That was the key word. David and his friends had started some kind of social media challenge, prank the wife/girlfriend, film her panic, then upload it for likes. I was content for their entertainment. When I confronted David that night, he didn't even deny it. "Why are you getting so emotional?" he smirked. "People will love it. You should be proud. You're going viral." I stared at him, speechless. "Do you even hear yourself?" I asked quietly. "Oh, come on," he rolled his eyes. "Everyone pranks their partner. Don't be dramatic." There was that word again. Dramatic. Men like David use it to silence women, to blame them for reacting to mistreatment, to make them feel unreasonable for wanting respect. That night, I saw the truth without filters. David wasn't just reckless. He was cruel. Not the kind of cruel that screams or hits or breaks things. The subtle kind. The kind that smiles while twisting the knife. The kind that finds your pain amusing. When I asked him to delete the video, he refused. "It's funny," he said. "Lighten up." I realized then that he didn't see me as a partner. He saw me as a prop in the show he was performing for his friends and online audience. And at that moment, something inside me hardened. There are betrayals that come from secrets, and betrayals that come from lies. But the worst kind is betrayal that comes from disrespect, from someone looking at your pain and calling it content. That night, I quietly cried in the bathroom, staring at my reflection and whispering, I don't deserve this. And the mirror, cold, silent, honest, agreed. I wasn't planning revenge yet. Not consciously, not intentionally, but the seed was planted. And seeds, they always grow. I didn't explode. I didn't shout. I didn't beg. I did the one thing David never expected. I went silent. Women like me, emotional, caring, giving, are always expected to react, to argue, to cry, to explain every feeling. David thought silence meant surrender, but silence is preparation. Over the next few days in Portugal, I observed, listened, planned. While David boasted to his friends about his prank, I took mental notes. What made him feel powerful? What embarrassed him? What he feared? What he depended on me for? I wasn't planning to hurt him physically or emotionally. My revenge was simpler and smarter. I would remove myself from his life so strategically, so quietly, so completely that he would feel the emptiness like a slow earthquake. The first step was gathering information. I contacted our bank, our joint accounts, my personal savings, his spending habits. Then I contacted a lawyer, discreetly. Under Portuguese law, emotional distress caused by deliberate endangerment in a marriage is taken seriously. The lawyer explained that what David did could be considered reckless endangerment, depending on how I presented the evidence. Evidence: the cafe owner, the old woman, her son, the messages, the recordings, his social media posts. There was plenty. My plan wasn't revenge. It was liberation. But sometimes liberation looks like revenge to the people who never expected you to walk away. The final trigger came 3 days later. David uploaded the video. Without my consent. Without hesitation. Without shame. He even captioned it. My wife freaking out in Portugal, faced with tears of joy, faced with tears of joy, faced with tears of joy. But the internet didn't laugh. Women flooded the comments, hundreds, then thousands, calling him out. This is emotional abuse. This isn't funny. You left her stranded? What's wrong with you? Men like you don't deserve wives. David panicked. He tried to delete comments, but they kept coming. His follower count dropped. People tagged his workplace. People tagged local authorities. His friends turned on him instantly. Bro, you're ruining our page. Why'd you upload it without editing? You're making us look bad. They blamed him instead of themselves. Typical. Seeing them unravel wasn't satisfying. Not yet. My moment came when we returned to the hotel, and he said, You need to fix this mess. Tell people it was a joke. I looked him straight in the eyes. No. He froze. He wasn't used to hearing that word from me. You're my wife, he said. Do as I say. And that was when everything broke. I was your wife, I said quietly. Before he could respond, the hotel manager, who had seen the viral video, knocked on our door. We do not tolerate abuse here, he said coldly. You must leave the hotel immediately. David was humiliated. His friends abandoned him, refusing to be kicked out too. They packed their bags and left him behind. And I stayed. The hotel offered me a different room, free of charge. And that night, for the first time in my marriage, I slept peacefully. David returned home alone. I didn't go back with him. Portugal became my refuge, a place where strangers protected me more fiercely than my own husband. I spent a week there, breathing, thinking, healing. When I finally flew home, I didn't go to our apartment. I went to my sister's. David texted, called, begged. We can fix this. You're overreacting. Don't ruin our marriage over a joke. My friends are blaming me. Help me. But the more he tried, the clearer the truth became. He wasn't sorry for what he did. He was sorry for the consequences. I filed for divorce. His face when he received the papers, shock, disbelief, fear, was the closure I never knew I needed. He tried to convince me one last time. I won't survive without you. But that was the point. He wasn't supposed to survive the way he was. He needed to confront what he had become. When I walked away, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel hatred. I felt freedom. And freedom is the sweetest revenge of all. Looking back now, that small Portuguese town did more for me than any therapist ever could. It exposed the truth. It tested my strength. It showed me the kindness of strangers. It revealed the cruelty of someone I once loved. But most importantly, it taught me that being stranded isn't always a tragedy. Sometimes being left behind is the moment you finally move forward. Sometimes betrayal is the doorway to self-worth. Sometimes losing someone is how you rediscover yourself. My husband thought it was funny to leave me stranded, but he didn't know. He wasn't abandoning me. He was setting me free.